sign. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. I'm out here on the DRZ today because I'm making a video about all of the motorcycles that I've owned before this bike. I said that I would make this video a while ago. Never really got around to it because I've been traveling kind of recently, so figured I'm out riding, might as well just turn the camera on and give you guys a lowdown on what I used to ride, which got me into motorcycles. Alright, so I've been riding motorcycles for a long time, almost just as long as I've been driving cars, if not longer. I had my first bike when I was, I believe, 16 years old, and that was a 2004 Honda CBR1000RR F4i. I got that bike from a good friend of mine, and I wanted to get into riding motorcycles because my dad had bought a Harley and he was starting to ride. So it was a good father-son bonding activity sort of thing, and I picked it up pretty damn quickly. Before that bike, I didn't own anything. No dirt bikes, no motorized pocket rockets, nothing like that. So I was basically starting right from the beginning with a 600. Might not be the best decision ever. The bike definitely had a lot of power, probably too much for someone who was as young and light and reckless as I was when I was 16. But regardless, it was a great bike. I kind of went crazy and did a bunch of modifications with it. I painted the whole thing matte black and with gold accents all over it, sort of like this bike. This is black and gold. So it was a great first bike. I learned all of my motorcycling techniques on that thing, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I owned that bike for a few years, probably until I turned 18, 19, and then that is when I decided to upgrade to a CBR1000RR. That bike was a 2007, I believe, and sort of the same thing went with that. It was a bike with a ton of power, and at that time I had been riding for a while, so I could handle the power. I was super comfortable on that bike once I got used to it, and that was the first liter bike that I ever owned. There's just something about a 4-cylinder sport bike like that with so much power, and you just really have to respect it. A lot of people think that when they get on a bike like that, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna kill myself. The people who say that they're gonna kill themselves on bikes like that are people who don't respect what they can actually do. It is a huge responsibility owning and riding a motorcycle like that, and if you can't handle it, chances are you're gonna end up getting hurt, and that's just the way it goes. Whew. A little airtime there. So I owned that bike for a long time through the rest of my college career, and then once I graduated, I moved down to Richmond, Virginia. At some point in my college career there, I ended up buying a KX250 for whatever reason, I'm not sure. That thing was a blast to ride. I got it for a really good price, and the only thing with that was that it was a straight up dirt bike. So if I wanted to ride it anywhere, I would have to ride on roads like this until I found a field that 9 times out of 10 I probably shouldn't be riding through anyway. Yes, I have friends and family with land and fields and mountain land and stuff like that I could have ridden on, but it was just too much of an effort. I didn't own a truck. It was a lot of work to kind of like move that thing around and get it to a place where I could actually ride it. So, I mean, that's kind of why I'm riding this now. I love me some supermoto action. But anyway, I had that bike for a short period of time. I still had my CBR1000, and then I moved to Richmond, and I had my 2015 STI down there, as well as that sport bike. And if you can imagine being like 22, I think I was about 22 years old, it made my insurance go through the fucking roof. I had Pennsylvania plates on everything, and I was working as a contractor, so I was moving around non-stop. So being out of state, being that young with 2 fast automobiles and motorcycles, it did not, how can I say this? It just wasn't feasible for me to pay for all that stuff at the time. It was just, the rates were outrageous. Oh no, road is closed. This is probably from the flooding that we've been having. Guess we'll go this way. Now we're really getting onto some back roads. There's no paint, no road signs, nothing back here. So anyway, after I sold the CBR, I ended up going with a Yamaha WR250R, and that's really what got me like in the mindset that I wanted an enduro, I wanted a supermoto. That thing was the R, so not the X, had enduro tires and everything on it. The tires that I ended up putting on there were similar to street tires. It was kind of a good in-between. I don't recall exactly what they were, but I ended up riding that thing mostly on the street, but every once in a while I'd hop into a couple fields, do some off-road stuff from time to time. And then with my job, it had me moving around constantly, so I ended up coming back to Pennsylvania. I brought both my car and the bike back with me, and I rode it for a little while, but then I was working, I believe, out in Phoenix, Arizona then. So I was back and forth between here and there for a long time. I really wasn't home all that much to be able to ride and enjoy my Yamaha, but that thing was a solid bike. Everyone knows that those bikes have the reputation of being pretty bomb-proof, and that's sort of one of the reasons why I went with the DRZ too, because it has a fairly similar reputation to that of the WR. Which way should I go here? There's no road signs or anything. So the WR was great. I probably should have kept the bike because it didn't cost me a whole lot, but since I was traveling around so much and I really wasn't riding for like almost a full season, I ended up selling that and then buying the Grom that you guys have seen here on the channel a bunch of times before. And then there's the bunch of videos and everything that I went over on that bike, all of the modifications that I did and off-road adventures, just different places that I was riding that. And basically I bought that bike outright because it cost me like $100 in insurance for a year. It really cost me nothing. And then as I've been getting older, my insurance has been going down, obviously. After I turned 25, the insurance on pretty much everything dropped pretty significantly, so now it really is no issue. Ooh, there's a deer up here. Let's get him. Hello, deer. Where'd you go? I don't know. Stop sign. So yeah, that basically brings me to the point that I'm at now. I've always loved riding motorcycles and I never wanted to be without one, which is why I eventually downsized to the Grom for cost sakes, but then have since bought this bike now because I'm home and I'm able to ride more and I don't have to worry about it costing a whole lot since I'm not a 16-year-old kid with a sport bike anymore. Over the past like 10 years since I've been riding motorcycles, I've ridden a lot of different stuff. And I mean, it's just like anything, cars, guns, just things that I'm into. Your music tastes, everything changes as you just get into new stuff. You find new things that you like. The way you live your life changes. So right now, this bike I'm super happy with, as you guys know. Everything that I do now, where I'm riding, the amount of time that I'm riding, it just works for me. So yeah, that's basically it. Just a quick little video to let you guys know my motorcycle past. I know I left out a lot of information, but I don't want this camera to die on me. So if you have any questions on any of the bikes or anything that I've owned in the past, feel free to, I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe let me know your motorcycle past. I'm sure you guys out there who are really into motorcycling and who have ridden more than me because you're older than me, I'm sure you've all been through plenty of bikes. It seems like that's the common consensus with most people who get into it. What is this road right here, dude? This looks gnarly. I should bring my STI up here. Alright guys, well, I guess that is all for today. If you are new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe because I make new videos every week. Hopefully you guys enjoy this moto vlog. If you did, leave a like on it and I will be sure to make more in the future. I think we have a group ride coming up on this Friday, so if you like this, let me know and I will be sure to throw on my camera for stuff like that. Alright guys, thank you for watching and I will talk to you in the next one.